Hey guys, welcome back. It's Brianna, and today I'm going to be talking about avoiding stress and burnout in college. I do feel like this is something I'm credible to talk about because it is something that I have experienced firsthand with school. I do get overwhelmed very easily and burn out, especially. I went straight from high school. I've done summer classes, and then I just started this fall at Northeast State full time, and then in the spring I will also be full time and I'll be taking summer classes, and then I will be starting the nursing program next fall. So this is something that I have kind of experienced and something I hope to avoid moving forward within the next couple of years at Northeast State. So first, I'm going to talk about what stress and burnout kind of looks like, and that's where I've got my first source from a college student from the University of Georgia. They explained what this looks like. It can look like exhaustion, lack of motivation, decrease in, grades, academic success, things like that. And it can lead to anxiety and depression as well. So I want to talk about some of the causes of this. And I feel like this is something that isn't talked about very often. No one wants to, talk to others about the stress that they're having, or if they're burnt out in school. A lot of the time people kind of just sleep it off, or they just procrastinate, which is something that in the beginning I did find myself doing a lot, and over the summer I did that a lot with my summer class. I just kind of pushed it off until the last minute, and I didn't do as well because my grades started coming down because it wasn't something I focused on and put all of my effort into because I was burnt out. So the causes of this, it's from like pressure from exams, and we're always pressured to do well, to get everything done. And at first it can be an adjustment switching from high school, or even some people take breaks, so switching or adjusting to the college life and getting so many assignments that are due at certain days, exams and tests like that, things are different. And something that's been big for me has kind of been balancing school, work, and my social life, hanging out with my friends. And sometimes you have to learn to tell people no. You can't always go out and hang out. You have to learn to prioritize. So that has been a big thing for me. So that's something I'm still learning. And another reason we can get burnout and stress is because we're not getting a lot of sleep. Some people stay up really late trying to finish assignments. I do find myself doing this quite often. I'll stay up until about 2 a.m. trying to finish everything up whenever it was something I should have focused on earlier in the week. And lastly, another cause of this I feel like is that we compare ourselves to others. Even in high school we do this, and then it's like such a big thing in like this our society today is we are constantly comparing ourselves to someone else, or yeah. And my last point is, ways to avoid this and different strategies I have learned over the years. So, and that will get me into my second source. It's by Sarah Haroon. It was an article about nursing students being burnt out, which, that will be me soon. So she says that it's important to find a balanced approach. So, balancing, like I said, school and work and your social life. You have to learn time management skills, different ways to cope. I have found it's easier if I set realistic goals for myself. And like I said in the last video about time management, I like to create my notes thing, and it's got little bubbles that you use, and I check them off as I go. And that makes me feel better knowing that I'm getting somewhere and I'm completing things, and I'm not just sitting there for several hours not getting anything done. And I have noticed that a lot of college work, a lot of the things about it is the assignments. It's not necessarily that they're hard, but a lot of them are very time consuming. So I have found that, using planners in my notes app seems to help me, and, finding a schedule. For me, it was about getting into a routine. So I have found that I do better when I get most of my schoolwork done in the earlier in the week as I can. On Sundays, I do try to get ahead, and, I go to church in the morning, and then I think it's good to relax and go out with some friends, get some lunch with family and friends, and then continue to do schoolwork. And I like to kind of work a little bit in some of the classes that I can, and starting to get into that routine is kind of helping me. And I have had to set boundaries, you know, recently. Sometimes I do have to tell my friends no, like we can't go out and hang out. I really need to do some of my schoolwork. And a lot of them are very understanding because they've been in the same place. And another thing that I really like and I think is very important is finding support. So one of my best friends, she's actually going to Northeast State too, and we are going to start the nursing program together. And we have recently been going to Starbucks, and we'll sit there and study and just do our schoolwork for hours. If we need help, we ask each other. You know, we'll take breaks together, get some coffee, talk a little bit, and then get back to it. It's good to give yourself breaks in between doing several hours of schoolwork, because you can get burnt out, you can get stressed, and that's something we want to avoid. So I do think, you know, having somebody else, you know, it helps you feel better, you're less lonely, you have somebody to talk to, you know, you have somebody to encourage you to do it, and it's easier doing it with somebody else, you know. So it's very important to find support. I hope you all have taken something from this video, and I hope that I did okay explaining, you know, different ways to avoid this. And, you know, I do think school is a privilege for us, and it's something that I do enjoy. And a lot of the time I feel like I take it for granted or complain about all the schoolwork and stuff I have to do, but it is something I enjoy. So, you know, Northeast State's motto is we're here to get you there. So, and we are here to succeed. And so I do think that avoiding stress and burnout in college is very important to make us successful later down the road. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to watching your videos. Thank you.